Welcome to APush for 5, your shortcut to mastering the AP U.S. history exam. Let's jump into Period 4, 1800 to 1848, where America transformed through democracy, reform, and growth. Question 1. Stimulus. Henry Clay proposes the Missouri Compromise, 1820. If we can preserve the Union by an equitable division, let us do so. Question. The Missouri Compromise primarily sought to A. Outlaw the domestic slave trade north of the Ohio River to curb expansion indirectly. B. Prevent the admission of any slave states formed from the Louisiana Purchase. C. Maintain sectional balance in the Senate through geographic boundaries. D. Establish popular sovereignty as the default rule for territories above the Ohio River. The correct answer is C. Maintain sectional balance in the Senate through geographic boundaries. The compromise paired Missouri and Maine to preserve Senate parity along the 3630 line. It postponed disunion by compromise, not moral resolution. Question 2. Stimulus. Map, including the 3630 line, 1820. A map depicts the new line dividing future slave and free territories. Question. The creation of the 3630 line most directly reflected A. Attempts to contain slavery while expanding westward settlement. B. A long-term plan to gradually emancipate enslaved people in all federal territories. C. A northern pledge to support pro-slavery measures in exchange for tariff reform. D. A southern concession to end the interstate slave trade above the line. The correct answer is A. Attempts to contain slavery while expanding westward settlement. The line limited slavery's reach while preserving expansion, revealing compromise over conviction. It balanced sectional ambition and restraint. Question 3. Stimulus. John C. Calhoun's speech on slavery, 1837. Slavery is, instead of an evil, a positive good. Question. Calhoun's statement best illustrates which broader trend? A. Southern acceptance of compensated emancipation during the 1830s. B. Intensified ideological defense of slavery amid growing Northern criticism. C. Sectional agreement to treat slavery as a purely local issue with no national debate. D. A transition from plantation agriculture to factory labor in the Lower South. The correct answer is B. Intensified ideological defense of slavery amid growing Northern criticism. Calhoun recast slavery as beneficial, reflecting hardening Southern defenses. The shift from necessary evil to positive good deepened division. Question 4. Stimulus. King Cotton. Poster, 1830s. Cotton is the wealth of nations, our Southern treasure. Question. The sentiment above reflects which development? A. A coordinated Southern program to industrialize textiles locally and end export dependency. B. A temporary drop in cotton demand that forced planters to diversify into wheat. C. Dependence on enslaved labor to sustain global textile markets. D. The political eclipse of planter elites by smallholding yeoman farmers. The correct answer is C. Dependence on enslaved labor to sustain global textile markets. King Cotton symbolized Southern reliance on enslaved labor and exports. Economic entrenchment reinforced political commitment to slavery. Question 5. Stimulus. Slave revolt narrative, 1831. Nat Turner's revolt spread terror through Virginia's plantations. Question. The immediate result of Turner's uprising was A. Legislative debates in Virginia, culminating in a narrow vote to end slavery in the state. B. Formation of biracial vigilance committees to patrol rural counties. C. Federal marshals imposing martial law and emancipating suspected rebels. D. Harsher slave codes and restrictions on black education and assembly. The correct answer is D. Harsher slave codes and restrictions on black education and assembly. Turner's revolt provoked fear and repression, tightening surveillance and silencing dissent. It radicalized white Southern policy. Question 6. Stimulus. Southern newspaper editorial, 1835. To question our domestic institutions is to endanger the peace of the Union. Question. This argument was most often used to A. Defend slavery as constitutionally protected property. B. Encourage a national referendum on slavery to settle the question democratically. C. Promote railroad subsidies to integrate sectional economies. D. Justify immediate secession following the Missouri debates. The correct answer is A. Defend slavery as constitutionally protected property. Southerners equated abolition with violation of property rights, framing slavery as constitutionally safeguarded. It linked liberty with ownership. Question 7. Stimulus. Factory broadside, 1840s. Free labor, honest industry, and reward for merit. Hallmarks of the Northern worker. Question. The ideology expressed above most directly opposed. A. Northern Whig arguments for protective tariffs to nurture infant industries. B. The Southern belief that a fixed racial hierarchy and coerced labor were necessary for social order. C. Western calls for cheap land to extend opportunity to smallholders. D. Democratic attacks on corporate charters and monopolies. The correct answer is B. The Southern belief that a fixed racial hierarchy and coerced labor were necessary for social order. Free labor ideals contrasted with slavery's coercion, defining liberty as voluntary labor. Southern hierarchy directly opposed this worldview. Question 8. Stimulus. Northern Abolitionist Pamphlet, 1830s. Our nation's sin lies in bondage. No compromise with evil. Question. The tone of this pamphlet illustrates A. The ACS's program to transport all free black people to Liberia within a decade. B. A bipartisan plan to phase out slavery via federal compensation. C. The Liberty Party's electoral coalition with Southern moderates. D. The rise of moral suasion as a strategy to end slavery. The correct answer is D. The rise of moral suasion as a strategy to end slavery. Abolitionists preached conscience over law, demanding immediate repentance. Their uncompromising rhetoric polarized politics. Question 9. Stimulus. C chart. Question. Which conclusion is best supported by the data? A. Cotton's profitability drove the geographic expansion of slavery. B. Antebellum industrialization reduced slave labor demand in cotton counties. C. The Missouri Compromise prohibited slavery below 3630, pushing planters west. D. Foreign tariff wars depressed Southern exports, forcing reliance on domestic mills. The correct answer is A. Cotton's profitability drove the geographic expansion of slavery. Profit and soil depletion pushed slavery southwest. Economic success ensured its spread rather than decline. Question 10. Stimulus. Congressional debate excerpt, 1820. Shall the question of slavery follow our flag wherever we go? Question. This quotation anticipates later disputes over A. Judicial supremacy limiting congressional authority over territories. B. The extension of slavery into territories acquired after the Mexican War. C. The constitutionality of protective tariffs under martial court rulings. D. Indian removal and the sovereignty of southeastern tribes. The correct answer is B. The extension of slavery into territories acquired after the Mexican War. This debate foreshadowed the sectional crises of the 1840s and 50s over territorial slavery. Expansion reignited moral division. Thanks for watching A Push for 5. Let us know in the comments which questions you liked the most. If today's practice helped you, tap like, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss any future videos. And share this with a friend who's also aiming for that 5. If you want more hands-on learning or direct feedback, reach out directly. We'd love to help you take your prep to the next level. See you in the next video.